I've created quite a few screens for us to go through to better explain animation and prototyping within Figma. So, as you already know, prototypes are an excellent way to ensure that everyone in the team understand how things are supposed to flow, how interactions are supposed to look like, and also besides that, you can use prototypes to actually test the designs with your users to get a feedback and to see how they would react if they were using this product for the first or like 10th time, depending on like, is this product already live or is it something that you're just planning to launch and so on. So what we have in here is an example of an iOS app where you can discover people and just talk with them through voice messaging. So no typing allowed. And let's say that we have a list of people that you've already interacted with and discovered, and you share some interest and so on. And you want to find someone new to talk to. So to do that, you would hit this search icon in here. You would be taken to a new screen, and you basically have that kind of explore experience where a person appears, you hear a message they've recorded, and you decide if you want to chat with them or not. So you have the ability to kind of dismiss that person for now or start a chat with them by clicking this little heart icon or something. Again, like all of this is just a concept. So what I've prepared is like two different possibilities. The first one is you've dismissed the person. The second option is you've actually played the message, you like what they've said, you start the conversation, it takes you into a screen where it says start chatting. You can send the voice message to them. As you can see in here, I've created all of the states to kind of visualize how the recording of the voice would look like. And this was a tedious process. It takes a long time, and when you want to create a realistic prototype, it's going to take you a long time to get things right. But you can understand the flow. So if in your designs you had this, maybe this just to show how dismissal would look like, this is the state where the memo is playing. This is like half of the message is already heard. All of the messages heard, and you're kind of starting to the conversation in here. No message was recording was started. Now it started, and all of these states in between I've only created because of the prototype. So I wouldn't have them in my designs like this. I would probably have some kind of a state like this to showcase that you can dismiss this message and kind of start from here, and then the message is sent. So like you really need to think of different states that are going to be required in your app and how they're going to be presented. But as a designer, you should already be doing that. What prototypes can help us with is actually making that feel a lot more realistic, and also helping the developers understand how things should be developed. So if we think about this screen, you can see that there is some kind of a back arrow when you actually move into the search experience. So there are two ways that we can do it. We can either like make this screen appear from the bottom, or just make the screen slide from the left side. Up to you, but there's a place of interaction that you need to design for when it comes to prototyping. So you need to think of like, what happens if I take this screen, and like, is it overlaying the first one or not? If so, how's that going to look like? How long is that going to take? And so on and so on. Then from this state, what happens if you press this? So you can see I envision kind of some bubbles appearing below this to better tell the user that you've actually pressed this and something is happening. Now you're taking in here, another person appears. Again, between these two people, like, is there going to be some animation or not? Is it just going to be instant or not? That's up to you. And the more you think about all of those things, the better you will be at understanding how interactions and prototyping works. So in here you can see that from the play button it moved to the pause button. There's like a little rectangle in here that I've designed that kind of showcases the progress of time. So I'm basically just taking a rectangle like this that's a width of 1 pixel, and then in here I'm just gonna show you the name. So it's rectangle 32. Again, like, it's gonna take me ages if I actually name everything, so a lot of the times I'm kind of messy when it comes to naming of some of these irrelevant elements. If they were components, that would be a different story. There I'm really taking care of naming everything. And here you can see that it's rectangle 32, but it's now a lot wider, and in here the rectangle 32 is even more wide. So yeah, we have that. Again, in here between these two different screens, what's happening? Like, how does one appear above, below the other? Do they just kind of dissolve from one to another? All of those things you need to consider when prototyping. In here, like, how does this animation look like? I envisioned it like this thing turning into this and kind of sliding from left to right. So to cover that in prototyping, I need to ensure that this is group 6. This is again group 6. The icon switched a little bit, the positioning changed, disappeared, and in this screen, that part was kind of not visible. So like between these two, this new layer appeared and it moved to the left. And the most tedious part of this process was trying to figure out how to best animate the recording sound. So how do you think I did it? Pause for a second, think about it. Okay, now I'm gonna share it. Basically what I did is I have a lot of layers in here that are invisible right now, and all of them are little rectangles with border radius. And with each new layer, I expanded the height of one of them and made another one appear. I expanded the height of this one, made another one appear. Basically, I'm trying to kind of replicate that sound bar progress when you're recording a sound. And I did it just by adding a new rectangle that kind of appeared, making it filled with the color that I wanted. So opacity from 0 went to 100, and the size or height of this element went from 4 to something else. So you can see this one is called rectangle 51. If I go in here, rectangle 51 is now 40 pixels high, and the opacity is 100, while in here it was at 100, but its height was at 4, while in here the 51 was 4 by 4 when it comes to width and height, but the opacity was at 0. So basically with each new frame, I'm introducing a new one with opacity and then expanding the one that appeared in the previous frame. So it takes a little bit of time, but you're gonna see the animation and hopefully it's gonna be worth it. Finally, when you hit this, it's gonna move as a message here on the top, and that's it. Again, it's not perfect. It took me probably an hour or more to design all of these screens and to get all of the states ready. But so you don't have to just kind of watch me design all of these things. I just wanted to explain to you what I did and what I prepared. And now I'm going to show you how the prototype options worked. So in here, basically the prototype is going to start by someone hitting this. It's going to happen on click because we actually want the person to kind of tap on it. The other options that we have when it comes to prototyping, it can be none. You're not going to use that. On drag, that means that you're kind of taking that element and kind of dragging it a little bit. While hovering, it means that only basically as soon as the mouse appears over that element, something is going to happen. When pressing, when you tap and hold or click and hold with your mouse. I've never used key or gamepad, so honestly that's something that's probably even more advanced than this course and prototyping in general. Mouse enter, as soon as your mouse enters this area or leaves this area, something is going to happen. And again, I haven't used mouse down or mouse up honestly on any of our projects, especially because on most of the prototypes you're either trying to replicate the desktop experience really well or mobile experience, or you're thinking about like tapping things or not. So the things that you're going to use the most are either on click, on drag, while hovering, and after delay. Yeah, after delay is currently disabled, but basically what it means is as soon as the prototype starts or enters into this screen that we are now on, you have a timer where the change is going to happen. And we have after delay in some of the other areas, so I'm going to show you what that actually does. Besides that, you have the ability to navigate to something like a new screen. You can open overlay. That means that a frame is going to appear over this one. And you also have the ability to kind of position this new frame anywhere on the screen. You can, again, some of these things you're not going to use a lot, but basically swap overlay would mean that over this frame, another frame appears that's going to be different. And close overlay means that you're dismissing an overlay. So a lot of these options you're going to use with modals and pop-ups. Think of like a message appearing. Then if you hit close overlay, this message is going to disappear basically, and you're going to return to the original frame. Back is taking you to the frame that you came from, which is very useful if you have like multiple areas where you can get to something, but there's only like a close icon and then you need to take the user back to exactly that spot. Back is great. Scroll to is basically for larger things where you actually want to scroll the user down to a page. So you have a really long frame. If you hit on something like in the navigation, you have contact us, and it's going to scroll you to the bottom of the page. That's what it's used for. Open link is basically opening a real link, so you can enter the web address in here. Animation, one good thing that Figma does is they kind of describe what is going to happen. So you can see from frame 1 to frame 2 or frame A to frame B, there's going to be an animation in here. Basically the A is going to slowly slide to the left and disappear, while B is going to appear over it and kind of move from right to left. You can choose the positions of these things, so it doesn't have to happen from right to left like this. It can happen from left to right if you switch some of these errors, or top down, and so on and so on. If there are any animates in between these two frames that are the same, you can also turn on Smart Animate. And when it comes to the types of animations, there are many of these in here. Linear is basically there's no change. It's gonna like if there's 5 seconds in between, 20% of the change is going to happen at 1 second, 40% of the change is going to happen on 2 seconds, on 3 seconds 60% of the changes are going to happen, on 8 second or 4 second 80% of the changes are going to happen, and then in 100% of the changes are going to happen. With ease in, it means that you're kind of slowly starting in and getting faster. Ease out is starting faster and then kind of going slower. Easing in and out means that you're starting slower, going faster, and then slowing down again, and so on and so on and so on. So if you want to actually see what all of these do, there are numerous articles and videos when it comes to animation, and instead of me just kind of showing you what's already available in hundreds of places, if you've ever explored animation before, basically you can always kind of see how those things happen in here as well. The most popular options are either going to be ease in, ease out, ease in and out, and so on, or you can use the custom Bezier curve, which is going to allow you to kind of draw how animation is going to happen. So in here you can see if I'm taking this handle and I'm dragging it in here, it means that the animation is going to start very quickly, while if I drag it out like this, it's going to start really slowly and then start to speed up. So basically this would be like easing into something, because you're starting in and then getting faster and faster. Gentle, just like a little subtle animation. Quick is going to be very quick. Bouncy is going to kind of have that effect. So most of these you're going to use if you have some kind of objects when you're animating things and you want to get an effect like a bouncy ball or something. So just kind of have those things in mind. Again, similarly to custom Bezier, you can also use custom Spring to change how animation is going to happen. So you can see in here, it's going to be like really bouncy to the point where it's ridiculous. So I'm just going to use is in here, and that's going to be enough. When it comes to this frame, what happened is, you can see in here, I have this kind of X button that is gonna ease out to this screen as soon as I tap on it. And what I actually do have, and Figma is gonna show you if there is the layer that's animating from the previous one. So just by tapping on it, you can see that in here also something appeared. Basically, I had two layers that were really small and hidden below the main white one that are gonna appear below it and kind of spread out. I wanted to have that kind of ripple effect that happens when I tap a button. So that's why I had these two frames that are in here. Their opacity is 0 and their sizes are really small, but once I tap on it, they're gonna appear and kind of spread out from here. Then between these two screens, since I kind of dismissed this person, after a delay of 400 milliseconds, I'm actually getting switched to a new person. So I just wanted to kind of have that in here. Again, this transition is going to take 300 milliseconds. So basically what I wanted to do is have enough time for this animation to be noticeable, and then also for this transition to happen to a different person. That is done in here. Again, a lot of these options are going to be logical as soon as I kind of demo what I've done. In here, you can see that I had this entire area clickable or tappable. And when you tap on it, the icon is going to switch from play to pause. So this was the most important thing. I wanted this to appear instantly, while I wanted this kind of progress to happen gradually. So to do that, what I did is in here, you can see it happens on tap, on click or on tap. And it's going to be really quick animation where the play is going to get replaced with a pause icon. But since this is now already starting and playing, on this one, I used after delay. So basically after 1 millisecond, as soon as we enter this screen, it's going to slowly ease into the next one, which is why this is taking such a long time. I made it like 2,400 milliseconds long because I wanted this animation to appear. So I wanted quickly to move from play to pause, and then I wanted this rectangle that represents the progress of the user listening to a voice message kind of happen very gradually. So you can see this kind of growing, and again the same thing in here. It's gonna basically take me from this to this as soon as I tap the little heart icon, because I actually wanted to kind of have that effect in here. Again, depending on your prototyping needs, like is it a usability testing, are you just demoing things to the team, to the developers, to the clients, you're gonna change some of these things in your approach, because when it happens with users, you wanna give them full control. So you really need to think about like, what will they tap, why, what do we need to cover and whatnot. And here you can see it's a really happy flow because I just want to demo this maybe for my team. But if I were using this as a usability test, I would have to think of like, what if the person that the participant of this test taps in here? How do we cover that? What happens if they go back? How do I return them back to the flow that I actually want to test out? And so on and so on. So there's going to be a lot more like spreading out of your screens and flows when it comes to actual usability testing, prototyping. So yeah, a new screen appears. It's not... so a similar thing like in here, when you tap this, something happens after delay because you actually want this to animate a little bit and then quickly change the person to the screen where they are supposed to be taken to. So in here you can see after delay, to give enough time for this to animate, you want to immediately slide in the person so this new screen appears. Then you give the person a choice to tap on this screen. So you can see it's going to happen on click. And it's going to start this animation. And then all of these other animations are going to happen after a really small delay, 1 millisecond. And all of those things are going to take 100 milliseconds, because I really want a quick animation of this progress of voice recording. So basically all of these screens in between are going to have the same thing, 1 millisecond, 100 millisecond, and I'm just changing the opacity and the height of some of these elements. And then once that's done, you hit send and it's sent. Okay, hopefully the prototype makes sense. Hopefully you understand like how much work is actually put into things like animation and prototyping. And now I can share the prototype with you. One thing, when you have multiple things in the same page in Figma, you can have multiple flows. So you know that we had this Smart Animate demo in here. It's in here, and you can always add new starting flows. So if you want to, you can have a starting flow in here by selecting a screen and adding a plus in here. And that's gonna basically add a new flow like this. We don't want this screen to be a flow starting point, so I'm gonna remove it. But basically you can see that this one has it. I don't want to remove it because it's connected to this animation that I want to demo. And if you have multiple of those, they're gonna appear in here. So you can see if I tap on this one, it's gonna load the flow that's right for me. And that's a great thing when you're testing things with users, because you can have like multiple starting points. If they take you to an unexpected place and kind of get stuck, you can always let them know, like, let's reset the prototype in testing, please click on this and use the left sidebar to do so. So let the searching begin. No, let's not talk with Josh Swift. Let's hit X. You see the animation, you see Daphne appear. Yeah, I want to hear what Daphne says. You can see it switched to the pause icon. It's slowly progressing. You've hit this. You can see this new screen appear from the left side. It's kind of giving you a sense of progress. That's the main part in here. In such a small space, it's really hard to let the user know what happens, what's over something else, what's below something else. So you're kind of giving that sense of 3D dimension and also progress by having things slide in and out and so on, from bottom, from right, left part of the screen, wherever. But you're kind of visualizing the progress in here by, for example, doing something like this. Let's start the voice recording, and you can now really see the animation taking place. Like, you saw how fast it was. You can make it slower based on your preference, like how do you feel that's gonna go, and then disappears. So hopefully this prototype walked through all of those screens. Again, all of these are going to be available to you, so you can kind of jump in into this file and go to advanced prototyping page and kind of explore all of the little options that I did, even though I think we went through all of the details in here in this video.